Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and get started so we can be respectful of your time and day. We are sharing the love today. So we're so glad that everyone is having great conversations. So welcome to the Oklahoma Venture Forum. For those of you joining us, YouTube, welcome. This is our second time to stream on YouTube. We're excited to kind of make this jump. I think it's a lot more efficient. If you are a board member, do not forget that we have a meeting after the lunch. If any of you are attending Zoom, you would have had a separate login emailed to you. And that link would be in your email. So today's program, we are, like I said, sharing the love. So we're going to highlight some of our OVF members and their roles in the ecosystem. And one thing that I am really proud of our ecosystem for, and some of you may have noticed, that in the last 5 years, it has greatly expanded. There are all kinds of resources now and funding mechanisms and support organizations and service providers, and we all work together. So I think that's really a great thing for our founders and our small businesses, that we are so collaborative. And hopefully today we'll show you a few ways that we do that even on top of what you may already know. Excuse me. There are several accelerators. Some just had their deadlines in, but there are still a few that, OK Grassroots, they are due on March 1st. G-Beta is due on March 11th. Hopefully, we had lots of people apply for the OKC Latino. Startup Launchpad is also an accelerator here. Cowboy Innovation, the OMFA. So there's lots of opportunities and programs for founders, and so many of them have spring deadlines. So please encourage your clients or yourself to apply. And if you are an existing person in the ecosystem, maybe you want a mentor. So more information like we found on Launch OKC Metro. That's kind of the convening spot for everything happening here in the Metro. And then statewide, obviously, there are more resources for our partners in rural areas and in Tulsa. Member highlights. This is fun since I just mentioned Launch OKC. I like to call her our master convener. But our January member highlight is Kristen Garcia from The Verge. Kristen is a key participant. Yeah. Where's Kristen? Kristen is a key participant in our ecosystem, and we encourage you to read all about her in our OVF newsletter. I think I might have been forgetting to click. Yes, there she is. There's her lovely picture. So up next is our newsletter sponsor, Insurica. We are so grateful to them for years having sponsored our newsletter. And then we want to also take a moment to recognize new OVF members. So if you are a new OVF member, please stand. We have Alex Evers with Meridian Technology Center. We have Magna, I'm going to mess up your last name, but from Boyd Street Ventures, if she is here. And then we've also got Dr. Rachel Lane with Canopy Health Tech, and then Keaton Fry with Blue Stem Resources. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Then one thing that is also cool about all the content and intentional programming that OVF provides is our podcast. So each of our speakers is invited to participate in a deep dive podcast conversation with past chair Kyle Golding. Kyle also has his own podcast and does a lot of great things for all kinds of members of our ecosystem. He's kind of everywhere. This is my second time to see him today. So we're very grateful for Kyle. And please check out the podcast. If you're a podcast listener, you can listen anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcasts. We also have a great YouTube presence. So for our dessert sponsor, OU, Office of Technology Commercialization. So thank you, Andrew. Andrew also serves on our board, and we sure think you're sweet. So thank you for being the dessert sponsor. And then we have the OVF Awards coming up. So the nomination window has closed, but it's time to get your tickets and see who all we're going to celebrate and recognize. So please reserve your seat now. That event is going to be in May. And tickets are not part of membership. But if you are a member, you do get discounted ticket prices. There is a QR code. So if you are thinking about them right now, you could go ahead and get that in. And then I think Jacob's going to come up here and give us a quick little transition so that our virtual participants can see the lovely faces of our panel. And so if you are going to speak on our Share the Love panel, you go ahead and start making your way to the front. So I want to welcome Brad Rickelman, Allison Watkins, Srijita Ghosh, Jim Denton, and Andrew Pollock. So we've got a microphone for each side, and you guys can pass it as you respond to the questions. And we are really moving through this fast. It's only 12:06. Sorry, we're doing a little technical.
So sorry.
Here comes Jacob again. But so while they're doing that, the YouTube people, they can see our participants, right, on the owl. And so, and so we've got the split screen going. Great. I'm just gonna go ahead and start asking the first question. So let's see, we'll start over here with Brad. So Brad, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you joined OVF and how long you've been involved. Yeah, Andrew, you have to share.
My name is Brad Rickelman. I'm with Meridian Technology Center. We have a business incubator in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I've actually been a member for 17 years, I think Rex and I were talking about. And when I first started being in Stillwater, I wanted to kind of get a sense of what's going on in the ecosystem around the state. And when I joined, this was really the tail end of, this was men in suits eating lunch, looking for investment opportunities. This was the on-ramp to get money in Oklahoma, particularly in Oklahoma City. You had to know somebody who knew somebody who had some money ready to invest. We didn't really have a very robust ecosystem. And so getting started was really a sense of who's out there and who are the people we need to know if we want to get a business to get some funding. So that's why I started.
Great. Andrew?
So my name is Andrew Pollock. I'm the managing director at the University of Oklahoma's Office of Technology and Commercialization. We're the tech transfer office for the university and manage all of the intellectual property portfolio. I think I joined OVF and became a member about 9 years ago, a little after a year of being in the office. The university already had a membership and I kind of became the representative. But my first involvement, actually, I think came even before that, maybe 15 years ago. As on the other side, I wasn't the entrepreneur, but I was employee number 3 at a startup company that was looking for money. I think they came and pitched. And I remember sitting in the audience thinking, boy, I would love to be a part of an organization like this one day. I have no idea how to do that, and no time or money to be a part of that. And so it was very much a surreal experience to get to come back and actually join that. The way we use our membership and the way we're really interested in this, the university has a lot of great minds, a lot of great technologies, but a lot of it is focused internally, right? And this is really an opportunity for us to connect, especially from an entrepreneurial idea and technologies to build businesses around outside with the community.
Cool. So Allison has a microphone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Allison Watkins. Good to see you all. I'm the founder and CEO of Watkins Conti Products. We are a female pelvic health company based in Edmond, Oklahoma. And I have been involved in OVF since about, I think, maybe it's 2017, 2018, something like that, a while. But, my company addresses very, very taboo issues. So urinary incontinence, and then to add to that, our solution is actually a vaginal insert. So my first engagement here was whenever Shay asked me, do you want to pitch at one of our events? And I was like, absolutely, Coach, is so excited. People actually want to hear about this, right? I'm so passionate about it. It was a wonderful opportunity, a very comfortable room to be in. And so I immediately just was like, okay, I've got to get involved in this. So that's how I started.
Well, my name is Jim Denton, and some of you who've been here a long time know me. I'm a CPA here in Oklahoma City and based out of Edmond. And I've been a member since about 2012. And so do the math, that's 12 years. And I kind of stumbled into this because I was talking to Rex about it. I was working at I2E doing an audit for them on one of their entities. And And somebody over there said, hey, there's a luncheon today over at the Health Sciences Auditorium. You need to go over to it. And so that coupled with, I figured out that one of my employees who was leaving, which we have a lot of that in the CPA firm, by the way. One of the employees that was leaving had a membership. And so I latched onto that membership and used the rest of it for the rest of the term, and then said, well, this is a no-brainer. I need to be a part of this. And the neat thing about this, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, is the variety of people that are part of OVF, and that's what attracted me to it. And that's my story.
Thanks, Jim. Hi, everyone. Srijita Ghosh, Venture Advisor at I2E. Happy Valentine's Day. I love to see all the colorful reds and pinks in the room. And thankful that you're here choosing to spend your day here at OVF. So my role at I2E is that of a Venture Advisor. I2E is a nonprofit organization that helps Oklahoma founders all the way from idea to enterprise. So our focus is in the high growth business model, and we help our founders by providing advisory services through various programs that we have all the way from the concept stage to positioning for investment. So my journey with OVF was actually started through my previous role before I2E when I was in Ada America. And I noticed, working there, that there was a sort of like a big gap between connecting rural and urban. Like there's a lot of great activity that was happening in a place like Ada, but we were not aware of the resources available. Well, through my organization, I was able to become a member of OVF, and that would really help me, as an individual who was learning more about the ecosystem, about learning more about venture, get that, and also help connect kind of all the resources that are available statewide to rural communities. And then I have been on the board for OVF for a little over 2 years since I've been at I2E. So happy to be here.
Awesome. And I realized that as both Jim and Srijita were speaking, my intro to OVF was pretty similar because I was actually, when I was in grad school, doing a fellowship at I2E and started to get involved. And then later I worked in Enid. And so that rural component of connecting these, at the time, micropolitan areas with what's happening across the state has been just so valuable. So our next question that we're going to ask the panelists is, how has OVF added value to your life, to your business, and to your clients? So who wants to go first?
I'll just keep it rolling.
Yeah.
I think that was like a really major component through, I feel like this is one of the truly statewide organizations that's connecting so many different communities and organizations. But so at I2E, we work with companies all the way from concept to those who are currently fundraising and also have received investment. A part of that journey is learning how to pitch, how to efficiently communicate your idea. And kind of what Allison was mentioning earlier, the biggest value we've received is like helping our clients get connected to this organization to either come and pitch and get that exposure from the platform. I think the group here has diversified so much over the years. We not just have investors, but also ecosystem builders, potential customer connections, and things like that. So having access to that exposure and that platform in a safe space, like it's formal enough where, the entrepreneurs are really paying a lot of attention to their presentation and making sure they're doing a good job, but also it's a safe space that they know they're not just getting judged, right? They're getting valuable feedback. So that's been really great.
You stole my thunder. As a professional, it makes a lot of sense to be a part of this kind of organization because you have the opportunity to meet someone that's at the very beginning, sometimes at the stage of their idea or their company or those kind of things. And to me, it's always interesting to see what their pain points are. What are they experiencing? What do they need to get done? What are the opportunities there for maybe somebody else in the room to solve a problem? And the longer you're in a group like this, the more you know who can do it. And you tend to say, well, so-and-so can help you with this issue, and you need to talk with so-and-so. It's been many times, I think most meetings that I come to, it's putting somebody with somebody else. And it's a networking thing, and it becomes almost second nature, after you do it a few times and you become fluent at it. So it's a real opportunity to do that. And then, there's just so many things you get out of working with each other on different projects. And I can look around the room and see people that we work with and helped in one way or another, or that have helped me in one way or another. So it's always it's a very mutual type group.
How much time do I have? Because I could just go on and on. No, I mean, first for me, just like having the opportunity to pitch, this taboo subject and everything, and get feedback. And then, transactionally, right? We've done business with organizations that I've met through OVF. So, Insurica, Cortado Ventures. I'm on the board of The Verge with Kristen. I've been on the podcast with Kyle a couple of times. It's been such great exposure, made possible by with Tracy. We've done business. Outside of just doing business, though, for me, it's the camaraderie, right? I mean, being a founder in a startup is difficult. And you're always raising money and you're needing to have these conversations. And I just want to tell this quick story about Floyd Farmall, because he was great. He's no longer with us. He's since passed. But I met him here through OVF, and he was an inventor and had patents all over the world. And he was also part of the Pizza Hut family. And so I was trying to raise some money, right? I'm like, hey, do you want to go to lunch? I go to his office. He shows me all of his patents. It was incredible. I went to lunch with him. I rode with him, and he was running red lights. It was terrifying. But he told me this story about diversification, right? And I had no idea what I was going to gain from that meeting. Like I said, I was raising money. But he explained to me that in the Pizza Hut business, they at one time thought everybody was going to buy their salad dressing. Like, everybody loves a salad dressing. So they start manufacturing, or I guess manufacturing is
Bottling,
yeah, bottling salad dressings, right? And then they're like, oh, we'll do croutons too. It costs so much to ship the salad dressing that they lost their money on it, and the croutons, just exploded. And so, just that conversation in itself, and seeing his patents, feeling inspired to, it was a great interaction. And so, even if it's not transactional, the friends and the mentors that you meet in this organization are tremendous, and have influenced me in many ways. So there's that. And also, we won the Most Promising New Venture, my company, a few years ago, and that was great too, because people really from all over the United States, on the coasts, and investors and board members, they were really impressed by that, and it helped, right? It helped kind of validate what we were doing. And so that was also a wonderful, thing that came from OVS. So I'm on board, just happy to be here, and recommend everybody join.
You can be our spokesperson anytime. But Andrew, so what about you? How has OVF added value to your business and clients in life?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to echo what was already said, because I've kind of distilled this down to one word, and that's connection. Right? It is the connections that I meet here, that I get to interact with, that have become friends, but also we've recommended some of our businesses and our startups to use from a client services perspective. But I do think it just really goes back to connection. I was amazed, again, having sat on the other side early on. The first time I came, I was like, oh, this is going to be really intimidating. It's going to be hard to approach people. I have to have a lot of things I need to talk about. I'm going to have a kind of an agenda. And what I've learned very quickly is to release that agenda, right? Is to not focus on that agenda, and to just come and meet people and talk about things. Now, I want to make it clear, I always have problems, so I will constantly be asking questions, because I need help. And I'm always selling too. So we've got a great portfolio portfolio of technologies. If you're a young entrepreneur wanting to start a company and don't have a business, come see me. I've got patents galore for you to commercialize for us. But really, it is that connection, and I'll kind of distill it down and demonstrate it in what has happened already today. So I've got a guest here, Chase. Everyone say hi to Chase.
Hey, Chase.
Hey, Chase, if you haven't yet. So Chase and I have known each other for about a year and a half now. He was actually introduced to me by another former current OVF member, Craig Shimasaki. I don't see Craig here today, but we met Chase through him. And Chase is wanting to be an entrepreneur at some point, right? So Chase is a young man, has his master's in microbiology, is working for Northern Regional, has some ideas for some businesses, and just kind of wants to be an entrepreneur at some point. But he didn't really know where to start. And I said, look, I know where to start. You should come and have lunch with us today, right? And I don't know who, I didn't have a list of people that Chase needs to meet. Because what's wonderful is you just sit down and you get to meet different people. So Chase and I sat down. Brad asked Chase what he does, and within 5 minutes, Brad has a company that's in his incubator that really could benefit from some of Chase's knowledge, some of his work out that he does today. Chase may have some opportunity to work with that company in an entrepreneurial way, and already that connection was made. Right? None of that was planned. I didn't think, oh, I bet I got to introduce him to Brad. But just because of those interactions, that's really how it works here. And it does kind of every time, and it's kind of what's amazing to me.
Yeah, I can add nothing more to what all of it's saying. It's just, but running a business incubator, we have 15, 20, 25 clients that we're working with at any given time. Even I don't know everything about all their topics. So we need other people to help out. And of course, this is a great place to be able to get to know the type of people that you need to know to help your clients get to the next place. And I think that's the key thing that we're doing here.
Great. So one of the things, I don't know how many people here, show of hands, are members. Hey, so you guys have already drank the Kool-Aid. But we are an accessible group. We have different levels of membership for founders that is very affordable, to single members, corporate, investor, incubator, underwriter. And so there are so many ways to really get involved. And beyond, taking that initial first step and joining, we have committees. And so if you serve on one of our committees, I see some people from membership, I see some people from our community outreach, which deals with mostly startups. If you guys want to kind of give a wave, that way people can see when we have our networking portion here at the end of the session. But in case you want to get involved. So this next question for the panelists is, if someone was on the fence about either joining as a member or they're an existing member and they're thinking about, should I serve on a committee? Should I look at joining the board? What would you say to them about the reasons to get involved? And then also maybe if you do serve in a capacity, how you serve, and what your time commitment's like. I'm really stacking questions, but I believe in you guys. So we'll start with Allison.
Well, serving on the board is what I've done. I'm not on a committee yet. I am trying to get through the FDA. So once I finish that, I'll work on a committee. But yeah, I just think that what we're doing is important for our ecosystem, right? We are interacting with companies and helping them build, interacting with, existing companies and helping them keep, additional clientele. It's important for Oklahoma to be involved. And so I think that if you have the time and an interest in helping, it's a lot of fun. You're going to meet a lot of great people, and it's very rewarding. So I encourage everyone to either join. You can take baby steps. It took me a long time to have time for the board, but it's just it's 6 meetings a year. Like it's really not that big of a deal, but you're making a difference. So sign up today.
Yes.
Now,
So do you want me to repeat all of those questions? Okay.
Any organization you get involved with, throw yourself into it. And to me, that is the best way to find out about the organization and to get involved. You get what you put into it. And so as you look at membership, and membership is just a name on something that you, a dollar amount by it. That's not gonna work. It's coming to the lunches, talking with people, coming to the kickoff events, and being involved in a committee, or being involved on the board. Hold up your hand and say, yes, I'll do that. And the best things in life happen. Sometimes some crummy things happen, but most of the time, the best things in life happen. And so you do that. I want to encourage each of you to do that. If you want to get on a committee, we got a great one. It is called the Membership Committee, and it's wonderful. We play games. We get to hear Gina talk and we pontificate about life, and it's a fun committee to be on. So that's a great one. So
That's a great pitch. I think one of the things that I admire the most about OVF and having been on the board is this is one of the most long-standing organizations. I think it's been the first organization to be in the venture capital scene in Oklahoma, but it has adapted so much, and we are always flexible as a board to adapt to the changing ecosystem. We have so many more resources and programs around the ecosystem now, and so the gaps that we see are different. And I really appreciate the flexibility of those leading the organization and the board to adapt to that. So with that, we are always looking for new ideas and looking for new energy. Some of the things that we have been able to implement in the last year or so, for example, branching out to Tulsa and things like that, it would not have been possible without kind of the effort and the help of members. So if you have any new ideas, if you have things you want to see, I think the best way to do that is talk to the board, become part of the committee. And also I would say that, one of the easiest, and adding on to Jim's membership deal is, I think a lot of us have like the additional guest pass, right? So bring someone like, Andrew did today. I have brought in guests, and it has been an amazing experience for them, whether they go on to be members or not. It adds a lot of value to our meetings and for them as well. So I encourage you to do that.
Great. I love that you brought up again, like more about our statewide footprint, because we really are trying to bring in the additional areas across the state. And another great way that if you want it like a low commit, well, it's actually not low commitment, it's actually a very intense week, but Global Entrepreneurship Week is probably one of the best examples for every single member of the ecosystem across the state comes together. And Kristen would have to verify, but we were like in the top 3 for entrepreneurial events in the nation, right? Like Oklahoma really brought it. So now to Andrew.
Yes. Hello. Okay. So a couple things. I'm gonna break the question down in why would you want to join OVF in general, and then what the benefit is of joining the board or a committee or being involved in the leadership of the organization. So from a why join the organization, I would say it is really amazing the access you have to unpretentious talent, right? There are real community leaders in this building of entrepreneurial organizations, senior leadership that have been doing this for several years that, it would be hard to get introductions to these people, but yet they're all here and they're all willing to give their time. And I just find that amazing. If you think about an organization like this in a what would be considered an entrepreneurial hub, right? Like it would be hard to get into that room. And it is very easy to get into this room, and the people here are very accessible and want to help you. There's a genuine desire to make this ecosystem better. From a board and leadership standpoint, I would say this. I've been a part of several organizations and on different boards, and most of those times it starts with a concept of what can make this organization better, what helps that organism, and what makes me better. What do I get out of this? And I will tell you from our meetings and from our board meetings, almost everything is focused on how do we deliver more value to our members? How do we make this organization better for the people who participate in it, not the organization stronger itself? It's very externally focused. And it has a genuine desire and just a real benevolence of how do we make this better for everyone? How do we include more people from different areas? Type of mentality that you just frankly don't see in a lot of organizations.
Very good. I think in terms of membership and getting involved, I think there's real value to having an organization like this. And so I think even if you were to sort of break it down in the most pragmatic manner of I get this many lunches and it costs this much lunches, like that, there's a tremendous value that the organization provides on top of all that your participation will help out and will help our entrepreneurs. You know, I follow Brad Feld's work a lot. He talks about how the entrepreneur is the center of everything. They're the ones that make everything happen. All the rest of us are this penumbra, this circle around the entrepreneurs that help things happen. But you can't have that circle if you don't have a way to sort of interact in that way with each other. And this gives us that opportunity to do so. So if you're on the edge and you're kind of like, well, you know, $500, $600, you know, should I or shouldn't I? But also think about the additional value you're providing to our ecosystem. I think that's really important. As far as being involved in committees and boards, and I've certainly served my time on the board here and things of that sort, I think that what I like to do is find something small that you are interested in. Commit a small amount of time to that regularly, and then make it happen. So what I'm saying is don't say, oh God, is this going to be 40 hours a month of work for you? Take an hour out of your month and say, I'm going to spend an hour and I'm going to help Shay get one more member or two more members. Or I'm going to be on a committee to do something for an hour. We all have an hour. Find that hour that's worthwhile to yourself and put it into it. And then you're adding in. So instead of thinking that you're like, oh God, I can't get involved and get one more thing, you say, this is one thing I can do. I can make one more connection. I can make good happen. If we do that, I think good things are going to pop out of it. And that's where you make the real value out of being participating, is by putting in your contribution, so to speak, to that piece.
I want to, real quick, since you still have the mic, things that supplement, because you were, when I actually first joined Career Tech, I don't think it's wrong to say like mentor, but like getting involved in like the Oklahoma Business Incubator Association and the groups that partner directly with OVF. Because a lot of, I mean, from awards to our outreach committee, can you kind of talk about like the value that even OVF brings to an organization for that type of ecosystem builder?
Well, I think that we can't be everywhere. We can't, whatever our organization may be, or people that we interact with, I can't be in every community. I don't have an incubator everywhere in the state. And so I need to be able to cast my net widely. And organizations like this are those places where we can sort of interact with all the different people you need to. And you can create a tremendous amount of value by participating. The second part about it is that I'm a big development person. I believe that the next generation coming up is going to do tremendous work, but they're not going to do it if I just sort of disappear out that door and don't do something. It's my job to open a door for the next person. I can't do that if I don't know where the doors are. So I've got to be here so that the people that I came up with, who helped me, I have to do the same thing. And the way I do that is by creating an opportunity where people can come in, they can grow, they can learn, they can do things so they can develop the next group. So good things will happen. And, you know, my teacher retirement does well in investments and everything, and you all bring wealth into the state, and then if I dotage, I have somewhere to be, right? I need you. And so that's good, you know, so that's kind of important.
Okay, so we have been very efficient with our time. So how about for the audience? Does anyone have questions or a comment you'd like to add about your own experience? We can pass the mic. Give this 5 to 7 minutes. Let you guys also brag on OVF. Or if you see something that we can improve, we're all ears. Shay has her hand up.
I wanted to let you all know that on the contact page of our website, there is a wish list. So if you, by chance, have an idea or there's an event you want us to participate in, whatever the thought might be, run that around. You don't have to email. It's on the contact page. You can just submit it. It just asks your name, email, what your idea is, and you can actually categorize the idea to 7%.
Cool. So for our virtual participants, to repeat that, Shay was saying that on the contact page of the ovf.org website, you can click on the wish list. And so if there's something you would like to see, something that if there's an event you think OVF would be a good partner for, or a topic that you would love to see presented, because we do plan, our calendar out reasonably in advance, sometimes not as far in advance as she would like, but I won't be the chair next year, so I won't be as many, kinks in your plan. But no, that is a really great resource. So the wish list on the contact page for the OVF website. And then also one thing you might have noticed is that when you register for each of our power lunches, there is a field there that says, I would like to connect with. And so you can type in that field and say, like, it can be a specific person. It could be just a topic you're interested in, or I just need to find someone that knows X about X. And the great thing is that our membership committee and our board sees that. And so I think, everyone here pretty much echoed, we are all willing to share the love and connect you with whom you need to be connected with. And if we don't know, someone in our group does know, and we'll find them. And so that's a great resource too. So please utilize the wish list. And when you are registering, if you do have a specific need, really do use that I want to connect with box. How about anyone else? Kyle, I knew that you would speak.
So for each of our panelists and Kara, when you're out in the community, meeting people through personal or business connections, and it kind of light bulb goes off in your head, like maybe they need to know about OVF. What are some of the things that make that light bulb go off for you? And then what's your pitch to that person when you're just talking one-on-one? What do you say to them to get them to understand the value that you find in OVF and be interested?
Well, I'm always, thinking about the founder, right? Because that's who I can really relate to the most. And so, thinking through, I was actually thinking, there are other companies that I work with too, outside of the ones that I mentioned, like i2 helped me build my first deck. And, so I'm always thinking, okay, you want to get in the room with people, this is where you start, right? Because the door was opened for me. And this was like the first time I was ever able to pitch. So I'm always thinking about really the founder, and then the really great founders that I meet out there. I think because the Most Promising New Venture Award was so wonderful for my organization, I like to try to think about good companies that would fit that mold as well. So, I recommend, if you guys know of anybody that is building something that's exciting, there are several different awards. That's another way that you, that I personally try to think about how it's going to influence founders. So.
I'll jump in real quick. One of the things that I noticed is we have so many people that are choosing to come to Oklahoma now that they don't really know how to navigate the community. And it is an ever-expanding ecosystem, and it can be confusing with where to start. So I really like to encourage people to check out OVF because, one, it's a friendly room. They kind of get a snapshot of the ecosystem in a small space, and that really then it's just welcoming. And then as we can usually find them a primary contact, and so that person to kind of hold their hand as they navigate the ecosystem. And obviously, as a career tech incubator, I always say start with your tech center. But there's, we have higher ed in the room. We have so many entrepreneurial support organizations and nonprofits and service providers. Literally, we all do work together. So my bias does shine through for career tech, but you could come to any single person here and they would help navigate. So whenever I see someone that's brand new to the state or to an industry vertical or something like that, I think this is a great starting space because they can kind of see the breadth and then choose where they need to go.
I would say, the other piece of that is I saw Base Connect in here earlier. He's right in the back. Great. I remember first meeting him for the Enid Regional Development. They have a little business plan competition. He was presenting, he had this idea where that when people move to a base, the house, usually the wives, but the spouse doesn't know where to find a good dry cleaner, or find a good painter, or somebody to move, or it was a social media kind of thing in Enid, Oklahoma. And so initially it was interesting, but it was like, okay. But as time goes on, you run into them again, all of a sudden it's the next place. Now I'm thinking, OVF, it starts becoming a place where entrepreneurs move at different paces. And OVF is a nice way to get that entrepreneur sort of into the next place.
And to watch the evolution.
And watch the evolution as they go along. And now he's a member, thank you very much. But, what matters is that it was that sort of, I think that we underestimate the importance of the persistence over time of doing things. We always look for the immediate, the billionaire today, the thing that gets done, but most of the time it's a slog. It's a long slog of process. It takes different people at different places. Well, if you have to rebuild your network at every single step you make, it's going to be tremendously difficult for you to make the next step. If you can step in at point A, and maybe you go to the Verge and you work on with them, and then you start with an accelerator, and then you move a little further, and now you're in an incubator, and you're coming to the OVF, you're doing this, this, and this, and then you're meeting IT, you're meeting one of our venture capitalists. Over the span of 2, 3, 4, 5 years, all of a sudden an entrepreneur is ready for the next places so they can make it to the next step. And I think there's a tremendous value in that, in what we're doing, that's by the continuity that we can provide, that otherwise you're a sheep amongst wolves out there. I always tell people, I said, I'm the only person that you're going to come in and talk to that isn't going to ask you to give them money. Write me a check if I want to talk to you, right? Because we're here to help you. We're here to make you be successful as a business owner. And so you have that ability as an entrepreneur to pour with people like this to help you get to the next steps. And I think that's tremendously valuable.
Do we have another question from the audience? Are there any inputs from our virtual participants? It's on YouTube, so Jacob, I think, would have to let us know if someone is. We're all good on that front? Okay, so then if there are no other questions, then we're going to go ahead and throw a survey at you. Am I still clicking or are you clicking? I am okay. Is it working? Oh. There we go. It's not moving on my screen. I wasn't looking at the big screen. So sorry about that. So yeah, please take a moment to answer the question for us. Your feedback is important. If your phone doesn't have that capability, the survey will be emailed out to you. And then also if you are joining us virtually, I think the link should be in the chat. And we have found that our response rate is so much greater when we sit here and apply a little awkward pressure on you to just go ahead and fill it out now. Okay. I'm gonna get going whenever people stop looking at their phones, unless you've now switched and you're replying to emails, then we're just gonna move on because it's tempting once you've unlocked it. Who needs me? So now we are gonna move on to our door prize. And Standards IT has been so gracious to continue sponsoring our door prize. However, Danny is not able to be with us here today, and so the prize will be mailed to you. But if you are so fortunate as to be here with us in 3D, if you will glance underneath the table in front of your seat, you may find a neon sticker. So if everyone wants to take a quick gander, if you have the neon sticker, you're the winner. Is it an empty spot? If you are an opportunist, you can check these vacant seats. It should be underneath the table. And you know, because we're doing so good on time, since you have to wait for your prize to be mailed to you, I'm going to let you say a little bit about who you are so that we can all learn. So Here we go, Cassidy, tell us about you, since you're the winner of the World Prize.
My name is Cassidy Meyer. I'm here today with John Bartel. So I actually just graduated in May of 2023. And I started at Macon, Oklahoma the following July as an accelerated career track program associate. So I'm in their management trainee program, rotating through the commercial banking group right now.
Thank you. And so Shay will get your info and, Ginny will get your info and you will get something happy in the mail. So, okay, moving back up to the front. And we're gonna talk about our upcoming events. Do what? Oh, yeah, panelists, you don't have to be on display anymore. Although we are so grateful for you. You guys are good sports. Okay, so upcoming events. We basically have our pitch lunches. Those are very exciting. We get to hear from several companies at each one of those. So March 13th, we will be in Tulsa at 36 Degrees North. They've been a great partner for us. I think there's 5 companies pitching. I think that's right. So 6 in March. So we're going to hear from 6 companies in March in Tulsa. And then on April 10th, back here at MetroTech Spring Lake, we will hear from 5 startups. So those are always really exciting. And especially like as we just talked about, all the ways that people can give back. So if you are a funder, I bet they're really excited to meet you. But just as much as like other opportunities to pitch, like even at 1 Million Cups, it's what can the community do for you? And so there might be some feedback, or maybe you need to like some testers or just connection to someone. So how exciting for those 11 companies to be chosen and to pitch to us. Then May 16th is our OVF Awards, and we will be at the Oklahoma History Center. And again, your reminder, please buy your tickets, please come. We have some great awards that we will be handing out. And I think we have a pretty exciting speaker as well. So I think that should be coming out in your email announcements soon. And then before I hit the next slide for our networking time, I always like to we already know that many of you are members, but how many of you are founders? We'll do a show of hands. Okay, so we've got some good founders here. How many of you are funders, whether you are a bank, a VC group, an angel, LP? How many of you? Great. So founders and funders. How about service providers? Who here can help? Yeah, we have accountants, we have insurance, HR, organizational development, lots of people here in the room. What about entrepreneurial support organizations? Those might be your educational entities, your incubators. Yeah. So, okay, so now you've got an idea of who's here. So when I click this slide to have our networking time. Oh, I'm well, we're going to take that as a signal that now it's time to mingle and network. So if you need a prompt question, maybe, what's something you love in your life since it's Valentine's Day and we're sharing the love? And for those of you virtually, I think that there might be a breakout room for you. I'm not sure with our new YouTube jump, but if there is not, we are so grateful for your participation, and we will see you on the stream next time. And board members, we have our meeting after this.